English writer Doris Lessing won the 2007 Nobel Prize in Literature. She's 87. Our next guest may just give Doris a run for her money. She's just published her first book. She's 16. Calasse Cardosi attends Zionsville High School and has a book signing event tonight in Carmel. That's a pretty busy Friday for a 16-year-old. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Tracy.
Talk to me about The Gifts. Where did this story come from?
Well, I've always loved to write, and I started out with poetry and short stories, and this kind of just evolved from one of those short stories, and I kind of fell in love with the characters, and it just evolved and kept growing.
How was your process? I mean, writers have different, sometimes it takes them years to come up with enough plot and character development for a book. Did it come to you a little bit at a time, or was it all right there?
Yeah, it did come a little bit at a time. It started out with the first scene in the book in my head, and I thought, oh, that would be a really cool thing to write about. And as the characters developed, I kind of felt like they were leading me where the book could go. It was really fun to write it, so it's kind of a journey.
Don't say it wrote itself, because
no, it didn't write itself, but it was kind of an adventure to write it.
Well, let's talk about this adventure. You have Zach, the main character. What happens to him?
Well, Zach starts having really weird dreams at night, and when they begin coming true, he's kidnapped and taken to an island where he's held captive with many other children in the same situation.
Okay.
So they have to use their spiritual gifts, and they have to work together to escape from the island.
All right, we won't do any, plot busting here. We want people to buy the book.
Yes.
Now, a lot of authors, even if it's a work of fiction, have some of themselves in their main characters. Is that the case with Zach, or did you come up with them, conjure him up completely?
Well, I kind of made him up, but when I look at it now, he does kind of mirror a lot of my traits. So maybe that was subconscious, I don't know, because I just kind of wrote him how I think a good main character should be.
A lot of people your age would be just proud enough to have authored a book, but you've taken it a step further, and you have some charity involved.
Yes, 25% of the proceeds go to two different organizations that promote literacy for children. First is First Book, and the second one is Compassion International, and they both distribute books to underprivileged kids so that they can get more involved in reading.
That's awesome. Back to the plot a little bit there. You mentioned their spiritual gifts. Would you classify this as a religious book, or perhaps just some overtones?
Not necessarily. I mean, there's some really good moral messages in there, but I think anyone can enjoy it, and it's definitely, a lot of people who've read it said it's a great adventure and it's really interesting. They've liked it, so I think anyone can read it.
Are there more adventures with Zach up in there? Will there be a sequel, or are you working on another one? Or?
I hope there will be. I'm a little bit busy with school and sports right now, but hopefully when there's a little lull, I'll be able to get into a sequel, because I enjoyed writing this one and I'd like to write another one.
Well, there's no lull tonight because you have a book signing. We have to tell people about that at the Borders in Carmel, 2381 Point Parkway. Log on to fox59.com for more information on The Gifts. We appreciate your time this morning.
Thank you.
Young budding author. Jim O'Brien, 16. What were you doing at 16?
That's